Welcome to another episode of Prisoner to Billionaire. This one is entitled Trying to Go Viral. And let's see, the reason I entitled it that was because, of course, I'm trying to go viral. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, share these videos that I'm posting. And you can also go onto Spotify, listen to my audio versions. It's more in depth on Spotify because I did those a little while ago, and I was like getting everything out that I wanted to say at that time. So you might want to go over there and listen to the audio. I'm gonna see if I can try to upload them over here sometime so y'all can listen to them, and you don't have to go over there to another platform and hear what I got to say. You can hear them right here on this platform. But I want to talk about like certain things that was going on when I was in prison and outside of prison because for one, like I see all these on these platforms, right? I want to ask a question and y'all can respond or just listen to other people's responses or whatever you want to do. But I want to ask a question because, like, where I'm from, like the streets, a lot of people that's watching these videos and watching other platforms that's similar to these, they from where we come from. They from the streets, they from neighborhoods, they from, they probably grew up rough, trouble youth or whatnot, or had certain family members in the streets or whatnot, whatever the case may be. And for the majority of us that did grow up in that environment, like we all look at snitching as bullshit. Like you a bullshit ass nigga if you snitching. And I'm one of those people too. And the question I want to ask is this: like when people posting these crimes committed by individuals on these social media platforms to go viral, is that considered snitching? In your opinion, I can only give you my opinion, and that's because I only got my thoughts. I can't give an opinion based off of what somebody else may think. So, in my opinion, yeah, because it's like you giving the court evidence to use against another individual that's committing a crime. And if you're in a criminal lifestyle, then you snitching. Now, I can't say that about everybody because everybody didn't grow up in a criminal lifestyle and they don't follow the same rules and guidelines that we do as those of us that grew up in the streets and in the criminal lifestyle. Like it's basically the same thing as getting up on the stand and telling on somebody. And at the end of the day, sometimes they gonna come to you because you the one shot that video and subpoena you and have you get up on the stand and snitch. Basically, I see a lot of these people on these platforms blowing up, going viral for snitching, and like that's crazy to me because people following these people that's telling more than they following the real motherfuckers that ain't. Like, especially if you're supposed to be in the streets. And I know there's a lot of people out there like they getting all the females, they getting all the money, and because they famous for snitching. And I'm pretty sure y'all see a gang of them on all these platforms. And where I'm from, that shit crazy. I seen Lil Boosie say something about certain individual about like if he was out here and I mean he wouldn't this stuff would happen. And hey, where I'm from, I feel the same exact way that he feel. And people could take it how they want to, but that's the lifestyle that we chose to live. And the good guidelines that we chose to live by, the rules, regulations, the laws that was founded that was in the foundation and implemented before most of us was even born. But we decided to choose this lifestyle, so we got to abide by those laws and regulations that was applied before we even stepped into it. So to me, that's snitching. And I'm gonna give you a certain situation that occurred while I was there, like because part of me feel like cell phones when they came to prison, because I was there before they came to prison, I was there when they came to prison. So it was like everybody wanted a cell phone. Everybody that could afford it, or even if you couldn't afford it, you might your homies might want have one. You want to use it, whatever the case may be. But and everybody got their opinion on it. And it's like to me, I feel like it's some good things happen and some bad things happen based off of cell phones coming to prison. Because in the story I'm about to tell you is like one of those bad things because it was an incident that occurred and somebody ended up dying. and nobody, everybody in prison know what went on, but then what nobody telling. And individuals ended up posting a video of the incident because they was videoing out their cell when the incident happens. And like the tripped out part is like squad, that's goon squad, like motherfuckers that, for y'all that don't know, that's like internal, like the internal police. They police the police. They supposed to police the police. They police the whole prison, like all the illegal stuff that go on in the prison. So when something like of that nature happens, they come around, do their investigation or whatnot. So like I mean we locked down. We in the cells, and it's a trip because everybody had their cell phones, but everybody like in their illegal stuff that people have when they up in there, and we know they gonna come search, we know they gonna come here, so everybody putting their stuff up, doing what they do, hiding their stuff wherever they hide it at. But squad coming in the pod, everybody get they little they little calls that letting everybody know that they coming, but they wasn't coming at that time to do the big search like we thought they would. They was just coming in there to do their little investigation. And while they was doing their investigation, everybody like niggas on the cell, everybody on their cell door, looking out the window, seeing what they about to do. And so I'm out the cell. Me and my cellie, we looking out the cell and whatnot, see what's going on. And they hadn't got nobody for the crime that was committed. They just was doing an investigation of what was going on. And they looking around, they going like this, looking around the whole pot, like because at that time I was on the 270 yard, so they go all the way around, and so they looking, they just looking around, and then they like turn their backs, looking at areas, so they go up the stairs. They go up the stairs in the direction of where now I know, at the time we didn't know what they was doing, but I understand now what they was doing. But they going up to the stairs up this way. It was like on the total opposite side of my. I was in A section at that time, and wherever the person was videoing from was like in C section, the other side. So it's A B C. So for y'all that don't know, so they go up the stairs in the middle, like in B section, but they go like this. So they go up that stair, and when they get up there, they got their own phone and they looking down from that area on their phone, like where the incident occurred. And next thing you know, they looking, they going like this, and they like, bam, hit that cell that's right there. I don't know if they was the ones that I was videoing or whatever the case may be, but I'm just saying, like they looked at the angle from where the recording was taken, and was and right there looking down to where the incident occurred, and seeing from that angle, this must have been a cell. In theory, must have been the cell that the video came from. So they snatched them dudes up, took them on, and you know what I mean, like. But now they got, I don't know, as far as I don't know if they caught them when done or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, like they took them, but next thing you know, like days later, because the video artist came out, so now you see the individuals that committed the crime. So now they got them on tape. They got the people that they think video the tape that took the video and uploaded the video and all they contraband or whatever the case may be, even if it wasn't them that did it, because it might have been somebody else that was in the cell before them or whatever the case may be. So it's like, or a cell over or whatever the case may be. That it wasn't no guarantee that that's where the stuff came from. But I'm just pointing out certain things that occurred. Now, all these people now, I'm talking about this. Wasn't nobody cuffed up, nothing before this, and the only person left was the person that ended up dying. You know what I mean? That ended up dying. Now, based off of this video being uploaded or whatever the case may be, now you got people charged with crimes and all type of stuff based off of that video. Now, it's different out here on the streets than it is in there, because now everybody got cameras, and in all the stores, the stoplights, all the stuff, they got cameras on. So they gonna have video of incidents or whatever it case may be. So it's your due diligence to mask up or whatever you gonna do to make sure you ain't committing, like getting caught up in your crimes. If you committing crimes, that's your due diligence. But at the end of the day, my question, my back to my question is like, if they don't got you and somebody posts that stuff up, is that considered snitching? Hey, if you a street person and you post stuff like that, knowing that this individual ain't caught up, in my opinion, it is. Like, and that's just keeping it all the way 100. And if you go get on the stand and tell on somebody, that's telling. You know what I mean? Like, it's self explanatory. And I'm not with that. I'm not with that. And that's just keeping it 100. And I can't say that for every individual because every individual got different laws. And I'm not talking about in the streets. I'm talking about like righteous citizens. People that's live abiding by the laws and and things of that nature. Because you know I ain't gonna mark, people that ain't ever been out there committing crimes and stuff like that. I'm not talking, it ain't pertaining to race or nothing of that nature. It's just the way you was raised. And like, if these are laws that you always abided by, everybody got they, everybody make mistakes. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, if these are laws that they abide by, then how can I say that they snitching? Because it's not snitching, and it's different in my opinion than them doing what society does. If I steal somebody's car and they go tell, and I'm not talking about a street nigga, I'm talking about a righteous citizen. If I go steal their car or whatever the case may be, and they call the police and the police come get me, whatever, and they come to court on me, that's different. I expect them to come to court on me and do what they supposed to do as a righteous citizen of society. But for somebody that's living the way I was living at the time, we don't abide by those same laws. If I come do something to you, if I come rob you, I take your car or whatever the case may be, or do something, okay, you might want to report that to the police that your car got stolen. That's different. But I'm talking about if I come do something to you personally, and you know that I did it, but and the type of back and forth we might have with each other. If I shoot you and you come to court on me, that's telling straight up, and vice versa. If you shoot me and I go to court and I tell, that ain't nigga. That's wrong. If I tell on a person that if it's some information that I know that can get me off of something, nigga, you's a bullshit ass rat ass nigga, and that's just keeping it 100 because nigga, do your time, nigga. Like, and do your time. You know what I mean? Like, we know what the consequences are that we facing when choose to live this lifestyle: jail or death. You know what I mean? Like, we can last as long as we last out here in these streets, but at the end of the day, it's like one or the other is gonna ultimately come. So if you ain't willing to do that, then stay out the streets. You did make the laws you abide by, then stay out the streets, and that's just keeping it all the way 100. Like, a lot of us talk about dry snitching. To me, that's dry snitching. Like, far as like you posting this stuff. Matter of fact, they ain't even dry snitching. That's just telling. You know what I mean? That's blatant snitching. That's just, it is what it is. And I see a lot of people like don't trust everybody. Like, my love was different. Like, I think I said it before, or I might have said it on the audio versions, that I was taught different. Like, if I say I love you, like, I'm willing to die for you. I was willing to put my life on the line for you, no matter what. Like, unless you do some foul ass shit like snitching. But I'm talking about, like, if you were a solid motherfucker, like, I was genuine. I'm like, and I didn't know growing up that people didn't love the same way that I love. It's always gonna be ones that you fuck with tough that love you the same way, but then there's gonna be a lot of individuals that's on some hater shit and on some hate shit. And especially when you in the streets. Like, when you start, like, when a nigga was broke, when I was broke doing bad, and you know what I mean, like, niggas love my activities. They love the shit I was doing out there in the streets. And then when I started coming up, getting money, you know what I mean, doing a little stuff, you had motherfuckers that love you, but then you had a gang of motherfuckers that had fake love for you. Especially when you doing stuff that they could be doing themselves, and you progressing in life, and they not seeing the progression in their life that you get. Like when all the females start liking you and all the homies start praising you, then it's jealousy started arising, and people started doing little shicey ass shit. And you know what I mean? Like for me, that was like rough because I wasn't a shicey ass nigga. Even no matter what I had, I don't care if I had $1. And I see somebody needing it, especially one of my homies, somebody I love, like somebody I love for it, like, here, nigga, the fuck that dollar. Nigga, like we gonna be broke together, nigga, if that's the case. That's the way I always looked at it. I never like I ain't never been a selfish individual. Well, like I said, my mama told me one time that I was selfish. And when she told me that, it kinda like fucked me up. Because one thing I ain't never been, like I say, is selfish. Like I sacrificed everything for anybody. Like I wasn't really tripping like that. That shit don't mean nothing to me because like sometimes I hear people say like, "Oh, they act that way because they never had it." Man, I never had shit when I was growing up. So when I got it, it didn't like I don't. I was the opposite. Like once I got it, I knew how it felt to not have nothing. So I ain't gonna be looking down on the next man because he ain't got nothing. No, I'm trying to help you get to where I'm at, nigga. Like I'm not one of them niggas that's gonna hold on to something like because I got it now if it's a penny pinch and do the no, that ain't me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like God gonna bless me. And this even when I was in the streets, I always had trust in God. You know what I mean? Like when I was doing like I was fucking up and not doing all the shit I was doing, like man, I always trusted God. Like he's gonna protect me. If I died, I died. I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna go to heaven. Nigga, I still felt like I was going to heaven. You know, but it was a point in time when I felt like I was going to hell. And I tell you that story in life because when I got to that point, I was on some whole other bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it always, like I say, I'm gonna follow them guidelines, but I was on some active bullshit. You know what I mean? And I feel like shit. If I'm going to hell, nigga, I'm going on a silver platter. And that's how I reacted out there in them streets. Like nigga, I was on some bullshit. Like nigga, I ain't never crossed no lines on some foul ass shit that ain't cool, nigga. But when it come to that gang banging bullshit, nigga, I was on some gang banging bullshit. My homies know, and niggas we is fucking with ops, whatever y'all call them nowadays, they know, and they was on some bullshit back with me, nigga. I ain't never gonna take from them neither, because they was at nigga, like that's one thing I noticed too. Like when I was young, like I was stupid. I felt like I'm like this is one thing I'm gonna tell you like for on some real shit. The first time my mama house got shot up, I felt like I made it. In the streets, I felt like I had made it. Like, oh yeah, these niggas know me now. Like I didn't look at it like, oh, my family living here, my little brothers and sisters in here, and they might have got hit and all of that. You know, of course, I'm like, in my, like, nigga, my mama and my little brothers and sisters, no, now, nigga, but it wasn't to the fact that it was like they could have died. It was like, nigga, I'm somebody now, but nigga, now they gonna really feel it. You know what I mean? But it's crazy because that was my thinking back then. But let me get back to what I was saying about my mama. Like she said I was selfish, and I'm like, man, what? You ain't never. Cause I'm like, I'm the oldest. Like I said, my mama was on drugs, stepfather's in and out of jail. Like, and I was making sure my little brothers and sisters was good. You know what I mean? Even if I didn't have nothing, I'm gonna try my best to make sure they had something. You know, I can't say that I took care of them, like to the extent that a father should take care of their child, but I did my best to make sure that we wasn't hungry in that motherfucker. I guarantee you that. You know what I mean? Like I did my best. You know what I mean? And then that's like, but when she told me that, that kind of like fucked me up. Like, what you mean I'm selfish? You know what I mean? And she was like, I ain't saying that you selfish. Not trying to give stuff to people. I'm saying you selfish to yourself. She like, I see you around here like trying to save up. You say you gonna do this, you gonna get that, or whatever the case may be, and then let one of your brothers or sisters or somebody ask you for some money, you would give them your lab. Now you got to start all the way over. So you selfish to yourself. And when she said that, it kind of like I said, that fucked me up too, because she was right. And despite her being right, I still didn't change because I didn't want to feel like you know what I mean. Like I wasn't doing I wasn't taking care of my responsibilities as a big brother and as a person in the family, as a big homie, or even though, like I said, I was only 18 when I got out there, but I've been from the hood forever. You know what I mean? So even young people that was my age, they was my young homies. Like even I hung around the older like people older than me, and they gave me that G respect too, like because the stuff I was out there doing at the time, and they still give me that respect. But I'm just speaking on my past, and it's crazy because like so at some point you do got to be selfish with yourself. I mean, selfish for yourself because if you give your all, then it's gonna always be somebody that you ain't capable of taking care of because you ain't taking care of yourself. You gotta take care of yourself first and take care of you. Like that's the main thing. You gotta take care of yourself first. And I didn't realize that. And like it took going to prison and like for me to grow up mentally to start taking care of myself. Because at the end of the day, if you capable of taking care of yourself, you capable of taking care of somebody else. But when you taking care of other people first, it prevents you from taking care of yourself, and it prevents you from being able to take care of other people that may be in need, because it's all gone before you even establishing a foundation within your own life. And those are things that I learned over time. But growing up, and even after I got older, it was like it took a long time, put it that way, for me to understand that. And I'm still learning today, like because I'm still like I got that part of me that don't want to see people struggle that I love, and sometimes I still kind of like put them first instead of taking doing the things that I need to do for myself to make sure that I can afford to do stuff for other individuals and take care of myself and other people that I may need to. And it's a battle within me because, like I say, man, I'm a generous person. I like to see people happy. I like to see, and it ain't for self glory or something something that I'm trying to get out of it, like from them. It's just that I don't like to see people struggle, and it made me feel good to be able to help somebody out. That may be wrong to a point, but at the end of the day, it's like that's who I am. And another reason I was speaking on them cell phones being in prison, like kind of like being a bad thing, and I'm just speaking that for me, like because it was a good thing. Don't get me wrong, because I was capable of communicating with my family more often than I was. I had them when they was there. And it was like I used to work out a lot, and this was before cell phone. Even after cell phone, I started getting my shit right. But at the end of the day, like I was right in my opinion. Like how because everybody got a image that they want to reach, like for as far as your physique and your body when you up in there. Everybody don't got it, but I'm talking about as far as me. When I say that, I just mean general terms, and I mean myself. Like I was right. You know what I mean? Because I always wanted like to get cuts. You know what I mean? I wanted to get cuts. I wanted cuts. Like I was already like I said, I was a little chubby ass kid, and I didn't like working out when I first went to prison. I didn't like I played football growing up, so it was that the conditioning part was in me. But as far as weights and that type of stuff, I wasn't into doing all that stuff. I just had raw talent, and I was pretty good at it. I can look me up back in the if y'all want to back in my day, I was somebody, and on the field until like gang banging got me fucked up. You know what I mean? I was already in gang banging, but it was just certain things, incidents to happen that took me away from shit that I was supposed to be focused on. And I'll tell you them stories later on too, on down the line. I'm gonna have a bunch of these one of these days posted up on here, and y'all can go through every last one of them, dissect them, or whatever you need to do to understand who I was all together. Like I had a long life. Most of it was in prison. It's crazy when I look back and I think I was in prison longer than I was on the streets. Like it's crazy to me. I look at my kids; they grown now. I'm grandpa now. You know what I mean? I gotta go out there see my grandson. It's crazy. That's other issues that's going on. Like, cause when you gone, I know I'm rambling. I apologize for that, but when you gone and you away from your kids, and sometimes other people stepping in your shoes and fulfilling things that you incapable of fulfilling at the time, that should be bothering you. It bothered me. It still bothers me because first of all, I'm your daddy. I'm your grandpa. I'm your whatever. So I don't want somebody else to have that ability to. assume that it's okay for them to call your grandchild they grandkids or your kids they kids. Like even before, like when I was messing around doing what I do, like certain people, dudes might be locked up or exes might be locked up, and their kids don't want to call me daddy. I'm not gonna know. You know what I mean. I'm around, but I'm not your dad. Unless if it'd be different if your daddy wasn't a part of your life or your daddy wasn't communicating with you or whatever. But when you still got a relationship with your dad, that's not cool to me. Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I was talking. Oh yeah, I think I was talking about cell phones. Cell another reason cell phones messing. I didn't like cell phones in prison for a bit. Like it was a bad part for me a little while, and that's because like I didn't have time to work out no more. Like I go to work or whatever the case may be, and like I go come back to the cell, and most of my time was spent on trying to get on this cell phone because I had missed all this time away from it while I was at work, and I didn't handle business that I need to handle, or talk to people I need to talk to, or do the things that I needed to do, want to get on the internet or do whatever it is that I wanted to do. That became more important than me trying to work out, and like think a lot of people ended up doing that. I can't say everybody, but I know a lot of people ended up doing that. They'd rather be on the phone than getting on that floor and working out. You know what I mean? Getting on that cell floor working out, and it it messes a lot up a little bit. You know what I mean? At least far as like I say, blacks is, to an extent because other races got different rules and regulations, and all black different cars got different rules too. But it was like certain people don't want to go to yard no more, and like I remember when I first came, it was mandatory you go to yard. I don't care what's going on in that set. If they crack that door, you got to go to the yard. And then most of the time the majority of the time I was down, like my homies, like if one homie going to the yard, everybody going to the yard. And it's crazy because I remember like it was back in the day too. Like most of the time I'm in the cell with one of my homies or something. Every now and then I'm in the cell with somebody else, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm still following the homie the guidelines of prison that I grew up in. So I remember I remember like they used to do a little call over each here, like, bro, you going to the yard? Yep. You going to the yard? Yeah. I mean, they be like, no, no. And like it'll get around all the homies, you know what I mean? Like, no, I ain't going. And then it get to me and my celly, they be like, y'all going to the yard? Yeah. Everybody be like, oh man, it might be Super Bowl Sunday, something like that, but it was like, and you know what I mean? I know people was mad at the situation at it, but it was like, I don't want to break. Like, this is what we supposed to do. I'm not doing something that we ain't supposed to do. You know what I mean? But the crazy part is that they already know what we gonna do. Like they already know what we gonna say. That's why they don't ask us first. Because if they ask us first, they already know everybody else gotta go. So it's like they want us to hear that everybody else said no, and so that'll kind of like convince us to say no too. But I ain't no follower, you know what I mean? I follow the guidelines that was established before I was even there. You know what I mean? So it was like when they get to us, like I said, they be like, y'all going to the yard? Yep. Oh, all the homies. He's like, oh, he's like, I think it was like one time that we just like everybody's like they got to us and we was like, all right, bro, we good. You know what I mean? Because it was like I forgot it might have been something special going on or something like that. And we like, man, I ain't gonna do the homies like that. We gonna chill today. And the homies look we like, we gonna chill today. I'm like, bro, we gonna chill today. You serious? I'm like, but we was doing some other shit, so I ain't finna speak on that. But it was like we didn't have trying to get shit done, but we'll do it. We had like, and they get to us, y'all go in the yard, and they expected us to say, nah. We was like, nah, and they expecting us to say, yeah, and we like, no. It just got quiet, just like that. Like it just got quiet. Y'all for real? You like, yeah, we ain't going, bro. Nigga, like they start banging on the doors, all the shit, you know. He like everybody happy, like all well, it's my homies in my car at that time. You know what I mean? They all happy when you go to the yard. But I ain't gonna lie, I feel fucked up. Like nigga, I feel fucked up sitting in that motherfucker. It was like, 'cause I was like, man, I was praying nothing happened on the yard with no blacks. You know what I mean? Like, cause niggas, I was like, nigga, if something happened, I'm gonna be fucked up, nigga, mentally, nigga. I ain't like, but even after that, it was like, man, I ain't missing no more yard. So I hope y'all have fun. Well, that time we ain't missing no more yard, bro. Cause I don't get it, you know, we don't get out like that. And it was like, all right, we good, bro. Like that was good. We appreciate that one. You know what I mean? So, nigga, I love y'all niggas still. You know what I mean? Man, I kind of like went long. I went off all off topic, but like I say, it's like I'm trying to go viral. So hope y'all help me do that. I mean, like, subscribe, share all these messages and stuff that I'm posting on here. Appreciate y'all watching. Y'all take care. Another episode, Prisoner to Billionaire.